goal is to prevent 90% road accidents, and we have started by targeting the human errors behind the road accidents. And if you look at statistics, then drivers' human errors are responsible for more than 90% of the road accidents, and remaining 10% is basically, other users' faults, other road users, road quality, visibility, all other things. So there is distracted driving, like looking in mobile phone or talking to somebody else, that leads to about 31% of the road accidents. Then if you look at the drowsy driving, the driver falling asleep during driving, that is again 25%. And rash driving and overspeeding is about 23%. So 79% road accidents happen because of these five human errors at this moment in India, and predominantly the statistics are for India alone. And if you look at night time, then close to 80% road accidents happen because of only drowsy driving. And over a period of time, we plan to create a driver resume kind of a thing, that each driver in entire India can be mapped against their performances, and they can have a card that what is my rating and how good a driver I am in terms of safety and discipline, both aspects. Like,
A warm welcome, Satyajit, to my podcast, Entrepreneurs Echo. It's great to have you here today. Without wasting any time, we'll straight away get to the barrage of questions that I have in mind. Fundamentally, I believe you are the founder of Sapience Automata. If you could just run us through what exactly Sapience Automata is, what exactly is the kind of problem that you're actually solving, and what is the kind of impact value you intend to create by virtue of Sapience Automata. Over to you, Satyajit.
yeah, thank you so much, Anand, for having me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm Satyajit, founder of Sapiens Automata, and we are committed to 90% reduction of road accidents in India by 2030. So that is our mission, and we are building in-house ADAS technology in Sapiens Automata, um, that can prevent road accidents in India. So at this moment, you see the technology that exists, predominantly safety technology that comprises of seat belts, airbags. That also is not, like, deployed at large scale, but mostly the new cars and everything is coming, of course, with it. but uh, but we focus more on the preventive side of the technology, so that the accident doesn't happen as at all, basically influencing everybody in the ecosystem, like from the passengers to the vehicle owner to the the insurance companies, and of course the government, and overall India's image and reputation on in terms of road safety. About it, that's what we aim to do. And of course, the other thing is that I want India to be recognized as a very tech reliant and tech advanced nation. So that is my purpose, why I came back after my PhD from NTU Singapore and building in India. So yeah, these are the two purposes that we started this company. I started this company in the beginning. Yeah.
Can you just break it down a little further for us in terms of what exactly this is? Is this an external device that you need to put into your car? Because we already have existing devices like the airbags, etc., etc.
Correct.
And how is the intervention happening with the driver with respect
Correct.
to this particular device? So what exactly is it that helps the customer in terms of preventing road accidents?
Right. So we have started by targeting. So as our overall goal is to prevent 90% road accidents, and we have started by targeting the human errors behind the road accidents. And if you look at statistics, then drivers' human errors are responsible for more than 90% of the road accidents, and remaining 10% is basically, other users' faults, other road users, road quality, visibility, all other things. So we are targeting the driver errors. Now, if you bifurcate it even further, then there is distracted driving, like looking in mobile phone or talking to somebody else, that leads to about 31% of the road accidents. Then if you look at the drowsy driving, the driver falling asleep during driving, that is again 25%. And rash driving and overspeeding is about 23%. So 79% road accidents happen because of these five human errors at this moment in India, and predominantly the statistics are for India alone. And if you look at night time, then close to 80% road accidents happen because of only drowsy driving. So this is a prevalent problem that has existed since automobiles exist, right? And these P2P errors and everything that we don't we leave it like as it is. So we leave it so many things to chance of road accidents basically. So
True.
here we are what we are doing is we have developed a completely in-house developed camera
Okay.
that faces the driver and inbuilt with of course GPS, so that it can monitor speed and acceleration for overspeeding rash driving part as well. And at the same time the camera, predominantly the AI camera, predominantly detects three things: drowsy driving, distracted driving, and the fatigue that leads to the drowsy driving basically. So these
Okay.
five, all the five leading causes that is causing about 79% of the road accidents, and at night maybe 85 or 90%, we are targeting via one single device. uh, this is, to the best of our knowledge, most accurate device for detecting drowsy driving at this moment in the market.
Okay.
um, and we have developed it for the last 3 years almost. R&D, the client pilots were running for close to 2 years now we have launched the product for the past 6-7 months.
Okay.
um, and yeah, since till this point, so this is the camera. AI camera has been installed in more than 250 vehicles at this moment. Has traveled recently, it has crossed 1 crore kilometers, and so far no accidents has been reported. I mean, of course, I'm not claiming that it can prevent all 100%, but a great chance that 60-70% chances of road accidents prevention, especially in the nighttime vehicles, is highly possible in coming years.
Okay. So when you're talking in terms of AI intervention, what exactly does the device? So is this something of a device which is actually put into your car? And
Yeah, yeah.
is
Any
this
vehicle you can put it in.
and
Any vehicle,
and
any vehicle.
okay, okay. And there's a signal, distress signal or something which comes up.
Yeah. So basically, first the camera captures the video stream,
Okay,
and analyzes it image by image of the driver feed,
okay,
and the AI then detects the drowsy nature or the distracted driving nature, right? Or the fatigue or overspeeding and rash driving are detected via the GPS sensors,
okay,
and G sensors as well. We have motion sensors. Then you have these AI, once they detect the drowsiness, and we have certain thresholds and parameters that has been developed over a period of 2 years of trials over more than 300 plus human drivers. Only then in the trial phase only I'm talking about.
very nice. Okay,
So their optimum experience, as it has been designed according to the driver's optimum experience. So it is not a device that is set in place to monitor the driver. Our
okay, okay,
purpose is accident prevention, and then of course getting some data about the driver that you can call as driver monitoring. So what it does is, after detecting AI, the drowsy driving, it has two modes of communication with the driver. One is a audio. There is a beep sound. There is a strong, loud beep sound, buzzer. Of course, adjustable volume according to the vehicle noise and everything. Taking care of that. So that is an audio signal, and there is a visual signal.
okay,
The visual signal is a flash, very, of course, I mean, it normally is disabled, but it flashes a blue light in the driver's eyes and at the same time a beep that is coming in the place basically. So these are the two mechanisms it interacts with the driver. Of course, I mean, it has been designed with the latest standard that has come up, AIS 184, for exactly the product that we have developed, driver drowsiness and attention warning system.
okay.
So that's where this audio visual signals and everything, we have made it according to exactly to the standard. We are doing the certification process now. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And I believe these devices and all will obviously require certifications as you were talking about, right? And these are
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
house developed or how is it?
Which one? Sorry.
No, all this entire device that you have.
Absolutely.
So these are all in-house development of.
Completely in-house developed. So we procure the processor and chipsets and everything,
Okay,
and then we assemble it in-house. The entire firmware is our USP basically. The AI codes and the software that is written into the hardware.
okay,
Yeah, so that also has been developed in-house, and also we provide a mobile application. So the customers, so basically we have two types of clients. One is a direct fleet like B2B, like a bus owner, bus operator who is owning 20 vehicles or 100 vehicles maybe,
sure.
or maybe some channel partners, let's say, who is offering GPS to these fleet clients. So they can tie up with us, integrate with us, and they already have the app and solutions. So we just transmit the data to them from the product, and they can integrate in their own software solution platforms.
Okay.
um, so so yeah, so we that app also, and the APIs, everything, the entire pipeline of the technology is in end to end in-house developed by and controlled by us. Yeah.
Okay, I understood the entire pattern. One more thing which was running in my mind, Satyajit, was is this a device which, where the app control is only with the driver or even the customer who's sitting along with the driver, uh, will also be having access to the entire thing? Because in case of, maybe the person who's actually driving may or may not have heard the beep or anything of that sort, will the customer also be given an access to the app or something, or how is it?
Customer means
The
the
person
fleet
who's,
owner.
the
Fleet
pillion
owner.
driver.
Yeah. Fleet owner is given an app. He is only the person that is, or the his operation operator basically. Is
Okay,
given the app in mobile and the web applications. We have both Android, iOS, and web application, all three.
okay,
So they are given, they then the analytics of the driver, the critical images, video recordings, the statistics, analytics of about each vehicle wise and also driver wise. So we have a facial recognition also running that can identify exactly which driver was driving at that point of time. And over a period of time, we plan to create a driver resume kind of a thing, that each
understood.
driver in entire India can be mapped against their performances, and they can have a card that what is my rating and how good a driver I am in terms of safety and discipline, both aspects. Like,
Fantastic.
um,
So this in a nutshell is basically like a report card for the driver.
right. We that is still, I mean, early stages. So once we have enough deployments, then we can start deploying it more rigorously.
So tell me something a little bit, off track from this entire thing. How did you start your entrepreneurship journey? Can you give us a little bit of a background about who you are as an individual and what's been your experience so far, and how come this aspect of road safety that you chose?
Hmm. Okay, so I think started, I always wanted to do something on my own, entrepreneurship. Right. So I have tried a few things before, like very early in my career, but it did not like go as planned. I did not have adequate background, but once I went for my PhD in NTU Singapore in 2016, and um, then I got the PhD opportunity in the space of autonomous driving. So
Yeah,
we were building a fully autonomous bus inside the NTU campus, a full stack technology. It was funded by ST Engineering,
very.
as part of the research group, and my job was to predict the different objects behaviors, predominantly focusing on the pedestrian behavior, because that is a part of very because the pedestrian behavior is the most random thing that you can see on the roads. So one thing was, once I started getting good results in my behavior prediction research and all those things, I started thinking about commercializing that. So that is one thing. Now, the second thing is that the NTU Singapore's, it is the environment and everything is so much conducive to both research and entrepreneurship. I mean, usually what we see in India, mostly it is about publishing research papers, and that doesn't get into commercialization. So there it is so much conducive that you hardly see any 30-40% of the published research papers converts into actual technology basically over there. So the environment was very conducive, so I could think about it. Of course, there is a, I had all the resources over there. Some director of Continental whom I can talk to about this technology that we have developed. Of course, I mean, it was when it was post the funding and the project was over, I still had to complete my own in my own way. So that way, um, then these are the two primary things that inspired me, that after having good results, that yes, I can build technology. And the environment was also, so everybody was doing that basically, right? I mean, alongside me, many people were looking into funding, going into accelerators and all these things. So that's how it started in Singapore itself in 2020. After I completed my PhD, I was doing this part time. I had two other friends over there who was doing it with me, and still we were trying to do this piece of software only. And we had little idea, very little I had, that I mean, it was very very hard. I mean, I had no background in in this entrepreneurship or business. Then 2021, I came back to India because my father passed away, and then I've been doing that since then full time in India, doing this. So I had an offer after I came. Of course, there was family pressure, and other things, that you have to get a job, because I did not want to go back, because yeah, my mother would be alone. So that's how it started. That I have to get a job. I got a job in Samsung R&D as well, but in negotiation process there was like a 1 week delay, and I decided that no, let's let's see how it goes. Okay, so and then it started. I built a team. I was looking to build a team because that team kind of fell apart. I thought, let me give it 6 to 9 months, nothing will change. And then of course, job you can always try to find basically. So then I was like literally talking to every person I met in every bar, pub, or a coffee shop, right, to trying to build a team. I mean, everywhere I literally sent requests to every person in LinkedIn, and I have spoken to probably, I don't know, in that phase maybe more than 1,000 people over LinkedIn and more than 500 people in person, like in that 1 or 2 year phase. And that's how we got a founding team basically, that you can say, that is about consisting of 7 people at this moment. Yeah, 6 of us are still there. I mean, to this date. Right. So that is how it started, and then I would say now it has become an obsession. I mean, that was like extremely difficult days of uh, product building, what will work, because the software thing was not going very well with big companies. They have their own R&D team. So I thought, let's make our own product. And then we found that there are significant gaps in ADAS technology in India. Plug and play basically doesn't exist. And Indians, I mean, of course, we have the money as a big factor, and still that is leaving the chance of accidents to a chance. Basically, all those things were there. We developed a yeah, that there was a period that I was all alone. At that time, I got a partner, but we shortly broke apart in 5 6 months.
Okay.
um, but yeah, gradually we had this team. So in the morning, so initially we developed I'm speaking probably a bit too much. Is it okay, like
No, no, perfectly fine. Perfectly
all
fine.
right,
This is,
all
this
right,
is a,
all
it
right.
has to come from the heart.
Okay, so initially, so I
Correct.
thought that the plug and play ADAS doesn't exist. So the first thing that I thought of is a front facing camera with collision warning and all these things.
Okay.
Okay, so because that's where I had even more expertise with, because I was doing that exactly basically with different objects, behavior prediction, and all those things. We still have that technology, of course. So a front camera we developed, the prototype. We had both, one with a touch screen and one with a uh, like without any screens, mini and all those things. That, and in the morning there was a period when I broke apart with this partner that I got for the next 4 or 5 months. There was a period like, in the morning I would be going to the customers with this prototype, right, and in the evening I would be preparing investor decks, and at night I would be building the product. Right, and in 4 5 hours of sleep, and that also was like, I'm burning all my cash and nothing is happening because I had no exposure to selling. And I think that is a big thing that every entrepreneur has to learn, even the tech entrepreneurs mostly, because they focus on the product so much, the obsession on the product so much. But yeah, I mean, I did not know how to sell, but at least I was going out there and visiting clients and getting their feedback, right? That this product is not the something that they want right now. And mostly they would be liking something that the drivers, that they can monitor the drivers with AI or something like that. And so that's where I thought that, and then I was doing some research and figured out that driver errors are responsible for so many road accidents, because the ADAS technology with collision warning in such a congested space in India, it basically doesn't work. I mean, I could see it even with all my experience. I could see that it cannot prevent like more than 5 or 7% of the road accidents in Indian space, basically.
Right.
But so you have to find a niche that is very very strong in if you are a startup company. And that's where I found that this drowsy driving alone causes 80% road accidents in night vehicles basically. So if you can resolve the problem of drowsy driving with 100% accuracy, then you have something. So that was the only one pointer that got us started in this space. I mean, with this current product that we have launched. And of course we have several products and product lines and everything planned, but we are mostly focused on penetration of this product into several markets right now. So yeah, so that is that is a long journey. I mean, very agonizing.
No, no, this is actually very interesting. In fact, I have a couple of questions emanating from
Please.
the conversation that just the deep conversation that you just had with respect to entrepreneurship and things like that. Now, my fundamental question to you is: you don't have any corporate experience, and you straight away plunged into entrepreneurship. Number one, I
Correct.
want to understand was how easy or difficult was that decision for you?
Hmm.
What were the
So,
triggers for you for that decision? Number two. Number three, were you financially stable to take up entrepreneurship? And do you recommend people to straight away plunge into entrepreneurship without having a corporate experience? So these are all the series of questions that I have. I
sure,
get
sure,
your
sure.
perspective to the entire thing.
Okay, so I had 1.5 years of corporate experience.
Okay.
In
Okay.
2014, I graduated.
That's
I did
effectively
my
like
BE.
nothing at all, actually.
Yeah, yeah, nothing at all. And
True.
then I did work in Bangalore, same place. I thought I would never come back to Bangalore in that time. I hated my job, and that's the yeah. So that is one of the reasons of that kind of an experience that I felt. I mean, of course, I mean, you after bachelor's, you are not, if you work in an MNC, you are not given enough challenges, or you don't see your work getting deployed or being done anything. You still don't feel like that. So that's the predominant reason I was looking to escape. I was looking to start some maybe coaching centers that I was very good at, physics or maths and all these things. And then I was trying for a job switch, where I can be. And that time not many startups were also there, where challenging roles and everything were there, existed.
Right.
And it was 2014-15, about that time. And then I was trying for my PhD also, because I was supposed to go right after my graduation, but my passport did not come in time. But yeah, so I had to, so then it came. And once I got this GRE good score, and then I thought, let's get it done with PhD, and I loved it. Um, so so that's how basically, it was a very simple decision during PhD also, that either I would try to be a
Not a
professor,
simple
or
decision. Yeah, that's a very, very bold decision that you've taken. Not many
yeah,
people can actually do this,
either
because
yeah,
fundamentally,
either
how
I
did
will
you
be.
answer? No, I want to understand how did you answer the questions to yourself in terms of unless and until you're financially backed. See, this is a very
Hmm.
it's a very crucial stage of a person's career, right? This is a very bold step that a person. How did you get that boldness? Was it something that you were financially pretty well to do? Did you have did you anticipate 1.5 years of not earning a single revenue altogether and things like that? So what was it, that was
um
going into your mind? Because I really want to understand that mindset. So this is the first
sure,
time I'm
sure, sure,
doing.
absolutely.
This is the first time I'm doing with a person who is an entrepreneur who directly plunged into entrepreneurship without much of a corporate experience, right? So It'll be very interesting to know the mindset,
Right, right.
at that point of
So
time.
see, I mean, I did not think through all of these things. I was just following my conviction in the beginning. Okay. So
Fabulous.
when I came back to here, came back to India, of course, in Singapore after doing my PhD, I was again doing as a research fellow in Singapore itself. I was looking for several grants and all these things. Of course, in Singapore, I never thought of quitting my job and starting this full time. I mean, until and unless we got something from the business, basically,
Sure, sure.
right? But in India, I felt that I could give it 6 months. I thought that way, and that's the problem. When you give 6 months, it is hard to quit. 6 months or 9 months, if you give, then it becomes even harder. You get even more desperate. That I have to do something. I mean, right? And
There's an investment that's required in the business, right? So how did
sorry.
you invest? Was it your own money, personal money that you invested in the
Yeah,
business?
yeah, yeah. Initially, it was all my money. When I came back from Singapore, I had some cash, and that's how I survived 2 years. And after 2 years, I was all broke, and I was borrowing from my wife. And yeah, that is again another a big backup, I would say. I mean, of course, I mean, but yeah, I mean, it is a great backup, and she's I mean, her part also, I think, is significant. She has played a significant role in this company's journey, and I hope that we get somewhere. Then only it will become even more
You were
meaningful.
saying your wife is also a member of the company, so she helped you out in terms of building up this company, is it?
Yeah, yeah. She has also invested in my personal finances and also in the company's finances also in the early stages.
So
Um,
if I may just break this a little further, okay, don't mind
right.
me asking you, but what was the kind of see this the idea? I mean, the reason why I'm asking you this question is Satyajit, because a lot of entrepreneurs fail on this particular aspect of it, right? When it comes to the finances, okay, they maybe have
Correct.
a great
Correct.
idea in their minds, but when it comes to execution part of it, okay, the money part of it plays a very very important role, right? Unless and until you are financially backed, unless and until you have an investment which is to be made in the company, the quantum of investment is something which differs from company to company. But what is the kind of quantum of money? What I would want to understand is how much did you invest in the initial stages to make the company afloat? Because did you also think in terms of, I need to hire these kind of people? Were you already very clear that on the skill sets that you wanted to hire? So did you apportion, certain amount of
Yeah,
funds in terms of money as
initially
well?
initial phases, we nobody was taking any salary. We were all doing, everybody was doing some other thing, and only I was the full-time person over there. And
Okay.
my co-founder Unmesh, he's also a tech guy. He has
Okay.
also served full-time in some periods, during some periods.
Okay.
So once
Okay.
we got the funding from IPV in 2023, late 20, early 2024 last year, then only we had everybody, but we had the team, so it was very easy to take off. I mean, at that point of time, so everybody came here.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
yeah, but 2022 and 23, it was mostly without salaries. I mean, everybody operated very minimal what I could afford initial phases. May then it all trained out. Yeah, we did not have office space. I mean, for the most part of that time, it was mostly building technology, so I could build it from my home, and of course Umesh could build it from his home. And so
Fantastic.
so that's
Okay.
how it started. And I really did not think about it too much. I just had it great that I have spent 9 months, I have nothing to show for it. I have to do, because I felt, in all that journey, I know um, that I can do it. I mean, it is possible. So it is just about time and sticking to it. It is just that endurance that you just have to learn. And you know right. So basically, the how much you can tolerate, I think it just has to grow over a period of time. I mean, and it is just about that. I mean, that how far below you can go, how much you can endure, how much you can suffer. Right. And at some days, and that can be a period long, like 3 2 3 months. And but something will happen if you manage to sustain that phase. No, something miraculous or something will have always happened to me. I mean,
But were you clear that we'll be able to raise funds for this particular idea of yours?
I was not clear about anything. I just knew that I had to get going. I just knew that if I try, it will happen. I reached out to 100 VCs in the first round, and of course, IBV trusted in me and in the company. And yeah, I did not know I can build a product. I did not know. I did not know I can do sales. I did not know I can build channel partnerships like Redbus. And like now we have multiple, actually. yeah, some state governments, and we are supplying to. There are thousands of orders in the pipeline, basically. So I did not know any of this, but I knew that on top what we have to do. Like we want to build a product. I want to build something that can be shipped from India outside. That is helpful for Indian people. That creates value. I just have one goal, that I want to create value in every people's lives. I mean, in whatever manner they want it, in terms of money, in terms of safety, in terms of whatever it is, basically. So every single person that has been there with me in this journey, or every single people out there who can be our future clients, I want to create value for each and every person. And honestly, I have not, I mean, if you think through that much and stop somewhere, I have struggled with all these things. I mean, from family telling you every day about all these things, you have to somehow, something tells you that it's okay, it will happen. So yeah, it is just about that.
So fundamentally, what I
Honestly,
can understand from what you're saying, Satyajit,
I
is that
have thought about it. I mean, yeah, I have thought about quitting it multiple times. I mean, probably so many times. I mean, I cannot tell you. It is just that I have not executed that.
you're
Yeah.
talking about quitting.
Sorry.
Did you talk about quitting?
Yeah, I have thought about it, in that, not in the last 1 year or so, but before that, I have thought about it like multiple times. I mean, what am I doing this? What am I doing? So,
Fantastic. That's amazing because this is actually, quite an inspiration to a lot of young entrepreneurs who directly want to plunge into it. So fundamentally, what I can, gather from what you're saying, Satyajit, is number one, if you're convinced about the product that you're building, and if you're convinced that you're solving a problem, just be at it. It
yeah.
might take time, it might take effort, it might burn you a lot of midnight oil, but end of the day, never ever give it up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely. And
that's
you will figure it out on the way. Don't wait for
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
perfect execution plan or something. If you have an idea, because when I had that idea, no, that if it was only software part, I could see it. I was just pushing it too much. When it was about this plug and play ADAS device, somehow something clicked on me that this is going to work if I can build it. I mean, I felt like there is a huge market and I have the ability to build the product. I did not think about. I always thought that initially, that every product guy thinks that way, that whatever I build will sell, right? So that is another different thing, that is they have to learn. I mean, basically that it is the product. It plays a very small role, and unless and until you are bringing it to your client and molding it as per their needs, it is not a product. It is just you are holding a myth, right?
You're
So
just
I
holding
used to think
that,
that way
you might
also.
be able to solve a problem, but the problem is not getting solved.
Yeah. Problem is the solution is not the product that you have built. Solution is built somewhere else by talking to who will buy this, right?
Correct,
So,
correct, correct, correct,
yeah.
correct.
So
Can you run us through the process of raising an investment that you have actually done, Satyajit? Because I think this will be a very interesting topic to dwell on, especially for the people who are actually looking at raising investments. So, what was
hmm.
the initial step? Did you try to raise investment at the beginning itself, or after building up the product?
I have been trying to raise investment since I was in Singapore.
Okay.
So every single
You want
day
to go get a
I have
man.
I have I have I
You
have
to
put
go with
effort
us.
into raising money every single day. It was like, initially I was telling that to the investors. It has changed the statement from that 25% accuracy, it has improved. So investors are like clueless, like, what am I supposed to do with this? I mean,
You just simplify this entire process for us. For example, what are the
okay.
top three things which are actually required for a person who's building up a product who is convinced about the fact that he or she is solving a particular problem? What are the steps that the person should take, maybe to get to raise investments for the venture?
Yeah,
Maybe
what
some
I
four
understood
different
is
kinds of
that,
steps.
honestly, what mistake that I have done is not understanding exactly how much money you need. If it is too early stage,
Right.
it is you don't have to focus on getting some close people or some close investors, raise some money, so that you have the enough to build a product. And until you have a prototype, don't even think about raising a money. If it is a tech startup, of course, I don't know, I know many skilled business people who can convey an idea to any investor, which I found it very difficult, honestly, being from a completely tech background.
Sure.
So what I would say is that until you have developed a prototype and you have released it to first few customers, I don't think you need an investment. That was the case for us also. And only
Right.
when IPB invested in us, and some grants maybe you can apply, like SISFS, they give you 20 lakh rupees grant. For a tech startup, it is quite easy. They disburse it to a many tech startups right
Right.
now. So we got it in back in 2023 March.
Okay.
And before that we had a prototype, but we could get a client ready version in 4 or 5 months because of that grant. So before you prototype or some one client or two client who has shown interest, I'll take this, I don't think you need any fund. Once that happens,
Let me
prototype.
interrupt you here. Let me just interrupt you here. You are saying that one is, of course, the prototype is very much essential, right? That's the fundamental of
Yeah.
your investment. Number two, do you need clients who have actually been converted, or even if the clients have actually showed interest?
For us, IPB showed faith in us when we had the product. It was a,
Fantastic.
like
Okay.
not a product. I mean, not a product that we have today, but some
Sure.
MVP, and that we installed in some vehicle in Anantapur. One client that showed trust, so we three of us traveled from Bangalore to Anantapur with a product. We reached around 5 o'clock. It was dark. We installed one product, two products we installed, and
Okay.
we came back. And that demo actually helped build a lot of. That's where I started seeing a little bit of traction from the investors. Yes, they can build something. Of course, it was not a paid deal or nothing as such.
Right.
um but yeah, that building ability to build tech is justified, I mean, a little bit at least. And of course, I mean, so that is there. And so that is important in that phase. And then of course you
Sure.
have to show a clear path plan. Of course, none of it was clear or that much. I was still a very much tech guy at that point I mean, I'm still is, but last 1 year I've hardly looked into technology too much. But yeah, I mean, I think once you have an MVP and better some using clients, I think that is probably the right time where at least Indian investors will start taking interest.
Okay, Satya,
Yeah,
one very important question that I wanted to ask you was, do you feel a tech guy also needs to be a sales guy?
you have to. If you don't have any other co-founder
Especially
who
as
is
a
a sales
founder,
guy,
especially as a founder of a company.
I have to. You have to. You are selling everywhere. You are selling to all the employees, all the people. You are a salesman anyhow. I mean, if you are not able to do that, or you think that I don't want to do that, you don't want to be that, compassionate about people, about things what they want, then you cannot build a team. If you cannot sell your equity also to an investor, you cannot sell products. I mean, everything is just selling. About it is about selling, right? And of course, I have found it very hard. It is mostly about knowing what the other party needs in sales. So that is one learning I would say I have had in the over the past 3 and 4 years.
Maybe you are one of the examples of a tech company which has been founded where the founder himself is, in addition to being a solid techie, is also a sales guy. Normally, you don't really find this in a lot of companies.
Sales guy, I am still not I mean, not very good at like that kind of closing sales. That I have my team for that. But I can initiate conversations. I can overall like see things how it is going. I have closed a few, of course, but I still hesitate talking about money. So, but
So
a
are
little
you
bit, of
building up?
course.
So
I
do you
mean,
have
yeah.
any sales guy in your team who does the selling part of it? In terms of talking to customers and
Yeah. We have a sales head and a business head as well who has onboarded
very good, very
recently.
good. Okay, okay.
So
So how big is the team that you have currently, Satyajit, at this point of time?
currently, we have about 15, 16 people across
Fantastic.
Bangalore and Kerala,
Okay, okay. And
including
tell me,
everything.
how is the segmentation of the team? This is hardcore techie people, and what is the segmentation that
So
you
we
have?
have heads of every segment. One is me. Then we have a head for the product, one head for the finance, one head for the business, one head for the marketing, one head for the sales, and
Okay,
one head for the production of the product.
okay,
Basically, because we do in-house production right now, we are planning to outsource it to contract manufacturing. So
okay,
seven
okay,
people we
okay.
have core. Other than that, you have another three people in the product development and firmware and all these things. About another three people we have in the sales team. Two in the ground support in Bangalore. and one in Kerala. So three total.
So now the reason I'm
And
asking these kind of questions to you is very simple because when you sit with the investors and all this stuff, you obviously don't have a projection in terms of how many number of people that you need, right? So how do you go about structuring that piece? Because you obviously need.
which one?
I'm talking about from an investment point of view. When you're raising investments, salaries obviously is a very important component, right?
Correct.
Okay, so because you have to pay the salaries for the people that you're hiring.
Correct.
What I'm saying is, you obviously will not have a projection for all these people that you require, what you just told me, right? So this
Hmm.
it's a step-by-step process. But initially, when a person is raising investments, for example, for a product that you are building, what is the kind of headcount that he or she should actually, or who are the top two people that the person should have
Hmm.
as a structure which is presented to the investor is what I'm trying to understand.
Hmm. Initial phases, actually, I don't think you need too many people. Once it, until and unless it takes off. Of course, I probably we had a little bit more than we needed. Honestly, what I felt.
Okay,
Until and unless you build a product and make some sales, I think it can be very few people, like three or four people, and some list of freelancers or third parties, and all those people basically who can work on a project basis. Because it and
understandable.
I have the only thing I have tried, even if we have like 10 people, say 7 8 people or 10 people, or it has grown to 15 16,
Okay,
is burn as less as possible until you get the sales higher. That is one thing that I have focused on in the entire 1 year journey.
okay.
And yeah, I mean, it was not easy, because I myself had a very very high salary, personally, in Singapore and
Fine,
everywhere,
yeah.
and my expectations, and initially I would burn like that also. But
True.
through my own struggles, I have learned that it was not easy. Of course, I am fortunate to have very very good set of people that have stayed in this company for 2 years, 3 years, and still we are together. Um, but yeah, I think I would say focus on, I think it has to be on the uh, on the
On the
client,
go.
on the client, on the sales part. But at the same time, you need a very strong product guy also, who can, being a tech company,
Absolutely,
hitting
absolutely.
big and only closing deals, it is almost certain. And you are good at fundraise, and you are good at sales, but you cannot build the product. It will not go very far. The product tech for the tech companies, it is super important that the product is absolutely amazing. I'm starting from there. And then, of course, because I am telling you what about I lack, right? So I lack sales skills, I lack business skills. So that's where I am telling that that is important because I have suffered. Yeah. So no, you don't need too many people. I think a few people, like four people team would be ideal. Maybe three or four people. Yeah.
Tell me
And
something, Satyajit. I'll also be very curious to know. You had an idea in mind, obviously, but how did you validate the idea? Okay, one is driven by passion, the other one is driven by validation, right? So, were you driven more by passion or were you driven more by validation of your idea? And if so, how did you validate, that this idea is something which will definitely solve a lot of problems, for the
validation happened during my
uh,
client visits only. Once I built the prototype, and I could see almost like 40-50% of the customers are telling me that they need a driver facing camera, driver monitoring camera, which is AI enabled. They can monitor the driver.
so it was also driven by validation, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how you build the conviction. And then when it is supported by the accident statistics, that's where I developed. Until that point, I was just swimming without any kind of knowledge, trying to swim.
I understood. This is
What
the
will
reason
work?
why I'm asking this question is because this is also where a lot of founders actually fail because they start off with an obsession with a particular, with building. Okay, but where they fail is in terms of taking a proper validation.
Yeah, yeah, and validation has to be continuous. I used to talk
Absolutely.
to every person about my idea, and my wife was like, "Please, bhai, जाने दे मेरे को अभी."
What validation, see, what I mean by validation is not from the set of people that you know, not from your friends, your relatives, blah, 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 and all those people, right? They are the ones who can
Everybody,
probably give you an
everybody.
idea. Okay,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
validation is not from there. The validation I'm talking about is directly from the customers, from your prospective
Yeah,
customers,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So this is
Absolutely.
where most of the people fail. People are so obsessed in building a product that they actually, kind of forget about taking a validation, from their
Continuously, it
customers,
has to be.
right? So
It
that
has
is a
to be
very important part.
continuously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then obviously that's a very continuous process, as you rightly said. Absolutely. Any one specific wow moment where you felt, oh man, I think I've achieved whatever I intended to start off with. And secondly, some very very low moments where you felt, hey, am I, what have I got?
Yeah, all right, all right. Yeah, I think low moments are almost
99%.
every 99%. There have been, it is very, very hard to figure out only one single day that way where I felt, I can tell you one single lowest point. I was like, there is a place called Madiwala here.
Yeah, yeah,
Madiwala,
yeah.
Anandrao Circle,
Yeah,
Yalachipallia, Yashwantpur. These are the places I would be almost every day for the entire of 2023 when I
right.
had some product to show, 22 and 23. And nothing was really going forward, like in terms of investment, in terms of things. And I would be dejected every day, like somehow, having as much energy as possible in every single morning or every single whenever it is. I mean, there was no particular schedule also. So I was returning, and that day, my money was completely over. Like, I am not telling about any kind of with any kind of diplomacy. I mean, whatever I had, it was completely over. I had probably a few thousands, like 5 or 6 thousand rupees, and that's where I started borrowing. I was not able to pay rent to my wife, and funding wise also was not going in many places. I remember coming back and sleeping very dejected. Next morning, actually, I got a call from a customer, like, who
Wow.
told me that you have an anti-sleep alarm. I felt like that day, I don't think I can take this anymore. And I mean, it is a particular day I cannot exactly describe you because it was built up over days and years,
Absolutely.
right? So, and then next
Understandable.
morning I got this call from Dreamline Travels, who is a very very good customer, has been Mr. Maksud. He was my first customer, proper in Bangalore. That Anandpura thing did not take off too much. It was too far and it was not possible. That happened before this actually.
Sure.
And then in the morning I was going, in the morning I got this call, I got, and they gave me my first PO, like 23. Right. They did not pay back then, but yeah, but they have paid now, because that was not a product they wanted, of course. I mean, that was still a very early stage that they could not figure out what is that.
So was that one of the most wow moments for you in your entire journey?
I think those 2 days were probably, and then wow moment was first revenue. I think first revenue I got, I think in 2024. I mean, credited 2024 August or something.
Fantastic. Okay.
Right. So that is the first revenue. That is the time I cried a lot. I mean, yeah. Before that, I sold to some friends and all these people, like to make something, some
Right.
prototypes and all these things. That is like working version or something like that. But that was not from actual clients or somebody. So it was, I think, about 12,000 rupees for one product.
Okay.
In August, I think I have three products. He was supposed to make payment for all three, but only when we got 12,000, it was, I think, probably the most satisfying moment in my entire career. It's
Right.
bigger
Right.
than any investment or anything. I am not very crazy about funding. Honestly, I just want to raise. I want to have as much as I need. Yeah.
And then you want the business obviously to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I want it to be, of course, in at someday self-sufficient. I mean, of course, for growth we should need capital, not for survival. I haven't been able to do that in this round, so I am doing a short next round,
Okay.
and looking for a bigger pre-series round as well. But yeah, I'm yeah. So that's how I'm thinking. We will need that, but that is for the growth purposes. Right now, we have so like quite a few partnerships. We have Redbus, we have serving KSRTC. There are a few in the cab space, in the school buses space, like across country,
So yours
basically.
mostly, I believe it would be more of a B2B business, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is more of a B2B business, but our product can be installed in any vehicle. So yeah, we would look. I mean, and many people have told that this drowsy driving is a big problem. So let's see. I mean, if we can launch something in B2C space as well.
Okay.
But
And
mostly
what is the kind of price that you have, pricing point that you have for the product? If I may just understand.
pricing is very hard to disclose in a podcast because it varies for
Okay.
us. For us, it varies from different, like, the mode of commitment. Basically, if you only want the product or want the product plus APIs, as I was telling you, for the GPS and telematics companies,
Sure, sure,
then
sure.
you have product plus app. If you want with full app and subscription, right? Then it also varies ki you have to do the installation or not by yourself. But
Right.
everything is within, at this moment, per unit is within 25,000, including 1 year subscription.
That's fantastic.
So everything, if somebody is opting for everything, and it can be discounted as well.
That's, I think, it's a
We
very
will
sweet
talk about
spot.
it.
It's a very sweet spot that you've actually placed your pricing at, in my view, honestly.
Okay. All right.
That's, from an experience point of view, I'm just saying, I think it's a very sweet spot that you've actually placed the pricing at. Okay, now,
Okay.
how does a person go from idea to scale? Are there any three or four parameters that you feel would be important for the audiences who are listening to us?
Yeah, I think from idea to do two things. From idea to validate that idea with customers. I think you need one guy for that, and build the idea basically into a product, into an MVP. That is the first step. And then you do some iterations with the customer and the product and all these things until you figure out a way for launch, like this product is launchable and I can launch it with multiple customers and all this. Being a hardware startup, manufacturing is being done by ourselves. It is super hard, to be honest, to do all this part. I mean,
True, true, true.
right. But then scaling up for us, I think the best option is via channel partners. It is very, very hard for us to serve direct fleets with 20 vehicles or 30 vehicles. We unsure about the location and all those things. So whoever has installed GPS or have greater access to them, we will focus on building on the product. We'll focus on building on the map firmware. So India has a great product. We build a great products in India. That usually doesn't happen. The other things can be taken care of, the channel partnerships, business. Of course, we are defining the GTM strategies for our channel partners also, like how they
Okay,
are going to sell. Because that's so basically, first we what we do, we serve the segment directly, like commercial fleets, may intercity buses, or is our customer. Some cabs are our customers, government sectors. Then you have the logistics space. We are yet to enter in a rigorous manner, but we have plans for that as well. So how this product and safety can bring 10x value for these businesses. Because channel partners, if you go and via them or some distributor or channel partners, they would be clueless about how to sell the product and what are the value propositions. So first you have to justify the values with the direct partners, and then now we are planning to, as we are preparing to scale to maybe somewhat like 1 to 100 or something, then uh, so we have come 0 to 1, I would say, and 1 to 100. Now if we are doing it, then channel partners and distributors are the ideal way for us to go. With of course, we can only push our channels only if they also have the conviction to sell it, the GTM strategies. So we build the GTM strategies also for our channel partners. So
okay,
that is
fantastic.
that is how we have done it. I mean, we are planning to do it, the scaling part, that will focus on building the product and the manufacturing and quality and all these things, and
Okay,
do necessary API integrations with customers. And we'll have our app and a full service also, but that maybe we want to only serve to the bigger clients, with direct, complete, full product basically.
okay. So, what would be that one specific hook statement for Sapience Automata, for example, Satyajit?
I
Because
think
or do you also
we
are you
symbolize
in
road
a segment where
safety.
you
We
have a lot
symbol
of competition?
Sorry.
Are you also in a segment where you have a lot of competitors in
In
this
terms of
space?
building our own product, no. In terms of, if you talk about the subscription software, then yes, there are five, six players that I
Okay,
can name.
okay,
That they are building the softwares, like the video telemat, the software that the fleet owner operators will be using. So
okay.
in a sense, they can be our channel partner as well. Like if we are
Sure.
building the product and they like the product and they can integrate it to their platforms. So right now, as per as I know, I mean, we are one of the very few, maybe one or two, I think, manufacturers of the product in India.
Okay, very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so that's one of your key USPs, is what you're saying.
Right. So we've got the product camera manufacturer and the firmware developer inside the camera of the software. in the inside camera, whatever the firmware is written, the AI.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then the software part also we do, but that is fairly straightforward. I mean, it is possible to be done by many people.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we symbolize, basically you can tell, road safety. That is number one. And
Okay.
number two, I would also love to get opportunity to work with OEMs, because I have built autonomous vehicles before. I think I can make a huge difference in Indian ADAS landscape. So I am talking to a few OEMs, startup OEMs, and some big OEMs. But I would love to get a chance. So I also envision to somehow Sapience Automata is able to transform India's automotive landscape, or not only for India but maybe for the world as well.
Yeah. So is that one of your dream boxes to basically make this as a global brand?
Yeah, of course. Road safety is not it's localized to India. Of course, I am more caring about India, Indian people. I am a very nationalist person. I mean, in my head, that's at least before. If I was not, this struggle has made me even more, and all these things. So, so that is the, of course, but road safety is not a localized issue. There are many other countries that suffer from the road safety concerns, and of course, everybody would be needing ADAS, and it has to become more and more affordable across the globe. I think still it is not a very common commodity. Uh, and useful ADAS, like procuring from somewhere else, like from Europe, and putting it in the Indian vehicles will not work. You have seen so many ADAS car accidents happening because in India it is not built for India. Like there in India people don't keep enough distance. So there has been countless incidents where the car was hit from behind because of this emergency brake, and now people turn
Right.
it off, or they put it, this is ADAS car, please keep distance. I mean, why do you have to make jugaad one so expensive product? I mean, right? so
Got it.
so yeah, I think not only plug and play. I want to, because the firmware and all those things we are building, that is a core of any ADAS ecosystem. So we want to work with tier one suppliers. We want to work with, so that we can give them India specific ADAS components and all those things. We want to work with the OEMs, so that plug and play version of the only alert version also can be one part of the ADAS, which is like you don't have to pay 6 or 7 lakhs extra for the ADAS variant, but you can get it for maybe 40,000-50,000 rupees extra. A car that has all the alert functions, and when we take care of so much about the driver's experience, most of the ADAS system fails in, for plug and play at least, or even some OEMs also have seen two things: too many features, too many alerts, okay, too many functionalities without knowing what the driver's preference is, basically. And that is
Right.
number one. Or either that, or like super duper inaccuracy. That is, some companies are doing, some big companies are procuring from open market non-standard products that are not at all secure. We have many experiences in Singapore and some Middle East also. I know some of them, like security issues. So open market non-standard products, they are white labeling, and like it basically, the accuracy is, it has no, it is not solving what it is there for. It is,
Right.
yes, it is mostly a monitoring device. You can say that it is enabling the fleet operator to monitor the driver via CCTV. It is mostly like a streaming device, basically. So AI devices, very accurate ones, are very few, which has
Okay.
only and we have taken care of that, those two parts, the accuracy and the in-cabin experience. The driver is not jeopardized with unnecessary alerts and false alerts. Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah. Uh, Satyajit, tell me something very honestly. Between purpose, business, and impact, uh, what is the most important aspect for you as a founder?
I think impact is probably,
And
yeah.
why?
No, that's how I always have been. I just want to create value. That's all. That is my purpose also, to create impact.
So
Uh,
impact, purpose, and then business. Is that how can I put it? Am I, kind of correct in terms of
yeah. I think
founder?
business will be self-flowing if I can create enough impact. Uh, right. So I think
The
business
purpose,
will
obviously.
follow. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what are the two key learnings that you would like to impart to the startup community today and to entrepreneurs who are just starting off?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing that we discuss. Once you have conviction on something, just persist and like you have to just ignore all the noise somehow,
Ignore all the noise is very
internal and
important.
external.
Right, right, right,
Yeah,
right.
and let
Great,
time do its
great.
thing.
So how do you foresee the startup ecosystem going from here, especially in the age of AI, Satyajit? What is your
It's super hard to predict. I'll talk after maybe 1 or 2 years. Even for me, it is it is super hard. I used to think that I am kind of an AI expert, but right now, no. I don't see too much of what AI can do right now because I feel it is too early stage. We are of course deploying some of its capabilities which are well justified,
right?
but it can mess up if you I cannot of course in the production or in the coding part we never use these chatbots and all these things basically
Okay,
whatsoever, because it can jeopardize your whole thing. We don't have any reliance on any kind of AI based API applications. We developed
okay,
our own code completely from scratch.
okay,
But
okay,
yeah, for sales and marketing purposes we are looking into exploring some options where it is non critical, but
okay.
still we don't have I don't have that much conviction yet. I mean, in my opinion, I would like to give it some more time. Once I also stable and have more time to look into it, then I'll take a look, but it is very hard to predict right now. it's
Fabulous.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that it is actually evolving. To be honest, it's absolutely which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, and software, I think software companies are at risk a lot. I mean, who are only SaaS companies, because that is the product is very easy to develop now with AI. That is the problem. They
Right.
can simply replicate a product and redesign it, revamp it. So product design is super easy, website building is super easy, sales marketing has become easier. So it is, network building is also easy. Of course, you don't have the serving the client's trust and all those things. So if somebody is building this within the company and starting a competition, that kind of legal formalities has to be there, I think probably, because they will come with the network as well.
True.
So that is one thing. I don't see hardware startups will get too much impacted. Probably not right away. Uh, Not right away. Can be.
Okay, maybe the future. Yeah.
So I think versatile tech stack would be helpful probably for a company. And number two is I don't know. I mean, the big companies who have great client base like Zoho, Zerodha, they are just. Other than that, it is very hard. I mean,
True. 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 Very true.
so you have to increase your marketing spends and all those things. I think those are will be the. But
Yes.
I'm still not an expert. We are still at a very early stage company for everybody to know here. So asking for my advice and all those things, if we make it to some place, then I'd be happy to after 5 years to share my
Exactly.
opinion. Yeah. But
Honestly,
yeah,
Satya, it was wonderful having a conversation with you today. It's been a great learning, from a first-time entrepreneur who has plunged into entrepreneurship and building up something which is really having a lot of impact value. I truly and sincerely wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors. And it was fabulous having you on the show. And thank you so much for accepting my invite and giving us your perspective on a lot of things which would be a great learning for the people who would be listening to us. So thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone.